very great spread their clothes on the road. Others cut down. A lot of them were women. Sorry, men. But I thought how they absolutely are looking out for others. It's just the way they are. Philippians 2 verse 4 says, let each one of you look out not for his own interest, but also for the interest of others. It takes gentleness, it takes meekness, it takes humility to be genuinely concerned about the needs of others. Our words, I don't know about y'all, but I thoroughly enjoyed that little preacher we had Wednesday night from Ripley. He was funny, he was good, he was engaging. He talked about that older lady. I don't remember how old he said she was, 80s, 90s. She said, you know, all these other sins get easier, but the sin of the tongue, that don't ever get any easier. It doesn't, does it? It just doesn't. Because it just seems like the older we get, the smarter we should get, right? So then we're going to have a smarter mouth, aren't we? Only makes sense to me. I'm joking there, but our words, the W stands for our words. Our words have to be under God's control. Ephesians 4 warns us to watch the way you talk. Let nothing foul or dirty come out of your mouth. We have to control our tongue. You can't get it back. That preacher Wednesday night did a great job describing that. In James chapter 3, verses 1 through 11 says, my brethren, let not many of you become teachers, knowing that you will receive a stricter judgment. For we all stumble in many things. If anyone does not stumble in word, he is a perfect man, also able to bridle the whole body. Indeed, we put bits in horses' mouths that they may obey us, and we turn their whole body. Look also at ships, although they are so large, are driven by fierce winds, they're turned by a very small rudder, wherever the pilot desires. Even so, the tongue is a little member and boasts great things. See how great a forest a little fire kindles. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. The tongue is so set among our members that it defiles the whole body and sets on fire the course of nature, and is set on fire by hell. For every kind of beast and bird, of reptile and creature of the sea is tamed and has been tamed by mankind. But no man can tame the tongue. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison. With it we bless our God and Father, and with it we curse men. We have been made in the similitude of God. Out of the same mouth proceeds blessings and cursings. My brethren, these things ought not to be so. We got to control our words. Our expectations. The E in power is expectations. God controls our expectations. In Ephesians 4:2, it talks about being humble and gentle, be patient with one another, make allowances for each other's faults because of your love. There's another facet of the fruit. Has anyone in here ever been disappointed or let down by someone you love? Yes, we all have multiple times. Just think of how I've let people down myself. Not a lot any of us can do about someone else's actions. That's just a fact. You can't control someone else's actions. You would like to at times, it doesn't exist. But here's what you can control. You can control your reaction to the disappointment. Are you gentle or are you judgmental? I love a lot of things about this church here and the people in it. But probably the thing I love the most is how forgiving, how quick you are to forgive and to gently wrap your arms around someone who has messed up. I love that because I've been that person and I've been shown so much love, so much gentleness, not judgmental, gentle. That matters. We have to be that way. And then the R is obviously our response. God controls our response. Gentle people are proactive. We're not reactive. A proactive person is self-controlled. In Proverbs 15:2, it tells us that first we are to understand, then to be understood. Let me say that again. We need to seek to understand others before we seek to be understood. We like to do that backwards. We want people to see things our way, and then we'll worry about what they're trying to do. Smart fella. Well, I'd say a smart fella. He's a coach that's been coaching a long time, so he can't be too smart. But he said, and I noticed like when I was a young boy and I'd watch his teams play and he was up and down the sideline and he was yelling and he was getting technicals, and now he just kind of sits there. And I said, boy, you've kind of mellowed. He said, I haven't mellowed. And I like this quote a lot. He said, you know, I've never gained anything when I've lost my temper. Well, I'm sure that's not originally to him probably, but he said, I've never gained anything when I've lost my temper. That's pretty good. Keep yourself under control. If blowing off steam would do any good, we'd all do it all the time, but rarely does it help things. It usually makes things worse, which leads us to self-control. In 1 Corinthians, this is the last one. It's a short one because it's kind of it's the final piece of the other 8 facets. Self-control. In 1 Corinthians chapter 9, Paul outlines what I think is goals. Verse 24 gives a very specific goal. If you're going to be a Christian, be a Christian. Be in it to get